I'm back. Okay, so the second question well, it's not really a question. It's a, I don't know how to put it. It's just something that just surfaces, right? So I'm a chair. So that means, sorry about that. My eyelashes are getting on my nerves. I get students and I head their little committee. It's me, it's them, and then there's usually one or two other people like a methodologist or a content expert. All well and good. So I head about 30 committees-ish. Um, and so when I get them, I get the student, a lot of students come to start with their committee to write their dissertation. And there's no, it's unclear how they came about wanting to do the study that they do. And I normally get things like, oh, well, you know, I've experienced X, Y, and Z, or I see this a lot at my job. And so it inspired me to get my PhD so I could research it. And so they're getting their ideas for a study and building a study around an idea. That's no, you can't do that. I mean, you can have you can come up with your broad topic area, right? For your dissertation like that. That's great. Wonderful. I see this a lot at work, and this is the area I want to study. That's cool. That's fine. Now, what you have to do is everything always comes back to the literature. What happens is a lot of people get it in their head and they're like, I want to study, I want to research, I don't know, high school counselors working with at-risk youth. Okay, good, big, broad topic. Excellent. You can't just take that idea though and say, I'm going to look specifically at what interventions or strategies these counselors use to work with these kids, and then go into the literature to find recommendations to fit that. That's backwards, okay? This is how you do it. Get your good, big, bright idea that you get a big topic area, right? Like at-risk students, school counselors, how do school counselors help those at-risk youth? That's a good broad topic. Now what you do is you go into the academic literature and you search for articles in that broad topic. That's what you do. Then you read and you read and you read and you read some more. You read all the time. And as you read through those journal articles, you've seen it, you know, future recommendations for research. We recommend that future researchers use a larger sample, or have a more diverse sample, or it's recommended that future researchers work to find the personal experiences of said participants or whatever. But there's recommendations in there. There's future recommendations, there's limitations of their study that could potentially be extrapolated as a recommendation. So you have to read, make a list of the author, the year, and what the recommendations were, and get a lot of those down on one piece of paper. From there, you can decide how to progress with what you want to study and what you want your research to be about. But it has to come from the literature. It can't just come from inside your brain or from your experience or what you've seen. Everything goes back to the literature all the time. All the time, it's the literature. That's where you find your theoretical foundations most of the time. That's where you find your recommendations. And your recommendations are going to determine your methodology, because some recommendations are clearly wanting a quantitative study. You'll see wording like future researchers should work to examine variable A and variable B to see if there's any interaction, or if there's a relationship, or if variable C moderates the relationship between variable A and variable B. All of that's quantitative terminology, okay? Qualitative terminology is more like future researchers should explore how counselors interact with administration to best serve the at-risk youth population in the school. Something like that. That's more qualitative, okay? So your recommendations are going to help you kind of figure out if it's going to be a quantitative or qualitative study. And then you have to have those recommendations. Then you can figure out the methodology. Then you figure out the design, which is different than the methodology. Methodology is quantitative, qualitative, and then there's several designs under each of those that might be applicable. So then your committee and your chair needs to help you pick what kind of design you're going to do. Then you have to usually have a purpose statement and a problem statement, and those have to be lined up with your recommendations, but they also have to have been lined up with your theoretical base for your study, which is a whole nother video in and of itself. Theory, holy cow, that's a thing a lot of people have problems with. So you have a lot of working parts, and all of these parts have to be tailored and be lined up in order for you to move forward to do a study. But again, all of that comes back from what recommendations were found in the literature. I'm glad you have an idea. I'm stoked for you. You got a big, broad topic idea, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have a study. You have to read the literature. You're going to do a lot of reading in a doctorate program. You just are. But everything comes back to the literature. Everything. So I don't know, if you've got questions or you're not sure how to read a journal article, how to extrapolate those suggestions for research, recommendations for research, if what I said in this video sounds completely Greek to you and you need some guidance or something, you can comment in the section, or you can comment on the Facebook post when I make it. And I'll try my best to clear it up for you and kind of get you situated. Probably next week I'll do something on theory, and then I know I have to do another video on literature review also. So, but just keep in mind that everything comes back from the literature. You might have that big, broad topic area that you like, and that's awesome. Now, take that topic, write it down, stick it up where you can see it, and start pulling articles using keywords that are going to give you what your topic is about. If you're not sure how to go about finding journal articles, I highly recommend that you call your university's library, because usually the librarians at almost any university are like magic. They're awesome, and they can help you find what you need to find. So, but you have to, the bottom line is if you have a big, broad topic area, your recommendations for future research need to come from the literature, not from your head, not from what you've seen, not from your work experience, not from what you've experienced in your life. That's all good for picking a broad topic, but not for designing a study. All of the things related to actually designing your own study have to come from the literature. So that's it for this one. And then next week I'll do I'll do a video on theory, and I'll do a video on the literature review. And if you guys have any ideas for videos, you want me to make a brief video on something, then just leave me a message, and I'll get to that next week. Thanks.